We've swapped the wind and rain of Gateshead last weekend for the slightly warmer climes of Doha for the second Diamond League of the season. I'm Jane Dougal and welcome back to our continuing live coverage of the Diamond League. After the excitement of last week, we're hoping for more of the same here in Qatar before we head to Florence for the Golden Gala on June the 10th. That's on BBC 4 from 7. Oslo, Stockholm and Monaco are next, before the Diamond League heads back to Britain for the anniversary games on July the 13th, which it was confirmed this week will be taking place in Gateshead rather than the London Stadium. She won her 5th individual world title in Doha in 2019. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce's favourite for the 100 metres here. The top three from the women's pole vault at those championships are back, along with Great Britain's Holly Bradshaw. After breaking the world under-20 record earlier this year, Keely Hodgkinson makes her Diamond League debut over the 800 metres. Adam Jamili is part of a quality men's 200-metre lineup, and crowd favourite Mutaz Bashim returns on home soil in the men's high jump. So what a night we have in store for you. Let's get straight out to the men's 400-metre hurdles, featuring world silver medalist Rai Benjamin, with your commentators Steve Cram and Chris Dennis.
And now to introduce the field in the Vodafone men's 400-metre hurdles. Representing the United States in 2019, he was 5th at the US Championships.
Rai Benjamin and Abdurrahman Samba. Let's take you through the lineup then. David Kanzera goes in lane 8 from the USA, from the University of Illinois. Made the Diamond League final last year. He's been in great form so far. In 7, also from the US, Kenneth Selman, Pan American Games under-20 silver medalist. He goes in lane 7. In 6, look out for this man, only 20 years old, from Brazil, the Pan Am Games champion, World Junior Bronze, ran 47.68 in Walnut in California in May. Alisson dos Santos. Now, Rai Benjamin, with the trademark headband, said that he believes in his heart of hearts that the world record, Kevin Young's 29-year-old world record, will go one day, but it's just a question of not forcing it. Just let it come naturally and it will happen. He goes in lane 5. Samba, Abdurrahman Samba, on home soil, his first 400 metres hurdles since those World Championships in September 2019. But he ran 45.43 on the flat in South Africa a few weeks ago. Karen McMaster, in the white vest from British Virgin Isles, goes in lane 3. Denied bronze at the World Championships by Samba 2 years ago. Yasmani Capello, 34 years old now, still a fearsome competitor, the former Cuban Olympic bronze medalist in Rio in 2016. He's in 2, and completing the lineup, big-time performer Thomas Barr, 28 years old now, European bronze medalist, 4th at the last Olympics, remember, in Rio. This is his first race since those World Championships in Doha, just down the road at the Khalifa Stadium. But Samba, equal 3rd on the all-time list, 46.98, identical time with Rai Benjamin. That world record, remember, which has stood since 1992. Kevin Young, 46.78. First event then here in Doha on a sultry, hot and humid evening. Samba in 4, Benjamin in 5. Men's 400 metres hurdles. Well, Benjamin likes to go out hard, and the advantage, of course, of Samba is that he's got Benjamin in his sights, and it was Rai Benjamin with that lovely smooth action. He was a smooth talker in the press conference yesterday, also going well. He's made a really good start. Is Dos Santos, second from left of picture, really blasting through these first 200 metres. There he is, Dos Santos, brilliant, elegant style, and Benjamin has got a bit of work to do here. Samba is falling back. It's his first race of the year, but watch out for Benjamin. He's clipped that one. Benjamin and Dos Santos. Dos Santos maybe is paying for it now and going a little bit too hard in that first 200 metres into the home straight. Benjamin coming through. Let's keep an eye on the clock. It's Benjamin and Dos Santos also going well. McMaster on the inside, but Benjamin stretching for the line. Let's keep an eye on the time. 47.39. Well, he was saying perhaps another sub 47 second performance, but 47.39. Brilliant win there from Rai Benjamin, but he was pushed all the way there by Alison Dos Santos, who perhaps in the early stages went a little bit too hard and paid for it towards the end. But Rai Benjamin, who ran 47 and bits in California just a few weeks ago, it's a meeting record, and it's another win, and lays down a marker, Steve, for Tokyo in, what, 9 weeks' time?
Yeah, interesting. I actually watched these three running in the States at the Mount Sac Relays recently. And Dos Santos is the one who's moved on here. He really took it to Benjamin, had to work hard. Benjamin was supreme in that race in Mount Sac and came through again strongly as he did here. He clipped a couple of hurdles coming in. I think it was hurdle 8 was perhaps his worst. McMaster not quite on terms with Dos Santos, but as we all look forward to Tokyo, of course, we're looking for Valholm, but look at Samba. He's the one who's really got to step up. You've talked about only 4 men ever under 47 seconds, 3 of them current, Valholm, Benjamin, Samba, but Samba looks as though he's got a bit of work to do, doesn't he, if he's going to be really in the mix come Tokyo. But so far so good, a new stadium record for Benjamin. There's the result.
47.38, a good start, and an excellent season continues for Rai Benjamin. And Samba, as you say, with all the work to do, and Karsten Warholm, I'm sure, watching on with great interest.
So we flagged up the women's pole vault right at the very beginning. The Olympic champion, Caterina Stefanidi, based in the US, of course, and she's been talking about how good she feels in terms of her form coming into this season. Bit of a tricky start today. That's much better. Actually took 3 attempts. This is 474. Took 3 attempts to clear 464. And then first time over here. She's so experienced, always manages to pull the vaults out when she absolutely needs to. And so a little bit of a sigh of relief for her. Sandy Morris has talked a lot about, she's been talking about world records. She said she's in great shape, has been. She said, it's my technique that's not getting me up towards that 5'6" of Isenbayeva. 5-meter vaulter, of course, herself, Sandy Morris. But the ultimate silver medalist, World and Olympic Championships. Will this be her year as we head towards the Olympic Games? Women's pole vault, so competitive as always. But Sandy Morris might just be the one that they'll all consider they have to beat. But early stages of tonight's competition as well. So far, so good for Sandy Morris.
Yeah, built a runway in the back garden of her parents so she could carry on practicing during lockdowns.
Yeah, I think she built it in a local high school in the end, didn't she? With the help from her parents and local community, and a lot of people had to make all sorts of arrangements. And somebody who we couldn't see because of the Russian ban was the world champion Sidorova. So first time we've seen her cleared recently by the World Athletics panel. A bunch of other athletes still competing under the ANA banner. Now in trouble. Now everybody's been waiting to watch the world champion come up, compete against the other vaulters. Well, sadly for her, 474, which really is a height. Look how far she's over the bar there, just coming down on top, not getting the penetration, getting a high point right over the bar there for her. She is capable of the consistency that we know that she has normally to hit the high heights, but not here in Doha tonight. So we see goodbye, sadly, to the world champion.
Well, that's a shock, isn't it? That is a real shock. Stuart McSwain there in the warm-up area. He'll be going later on in the 1500 metres in great form.
It's the only call-up room in the world that I know has such a lovely carpet.
Sandra Pekovic then in the women's discus, the meeting record holder. Was virtually unbeatable between 2017 and 19, and then just fell away with 1 or 2 injuries. But is showing signs of getting back to her best. Well, that's decent. Sandra Perkovic never write her off at all. And of course, the two Cubans, Yami Perez and Dania Caballero, have very much been on the scene and dominating women's discus in the last season or so. But Perkovic very much still among that trio. 63.60 with her opening throw. Here is Yami Perez, world champion, just down the road at the Khalifa Stadium 2 years ago. Looks to be over 63 meters as well. 29 years old. She's also the Diamond League champion from last year. Has had a brilliant last couple of years. Unbeaten in 5 out of 5 competitions so far this season, all of them in Havana. 63.10, so she just tucks in behind Perkovic in second place. 63.75, beg your pardon.
Well, this season it's Olympic year and athletes have come out with a bang in different places and different competitions, and certainly somebody who did that recently was this young lady here, Rojas from Venezuela, with 15.43 in the triple jump, almost getting so close to the world record. That was in Spain, where she lives and trains. Here in Doha, first round, and that's it. Whoa, what a start. What a start. She is one of the fast rising stars of the sport, the world champion, of course, and we know, everybody knows, she is capable of that world record, surely. 9 centimeters behind the board, and it's over 15 meters, must be. That languid style of hers, long legs out, and she's been talking a lot now, very openly, about breaking the world record, and surely it can't be too far away. First round for Rojas is a startling for everybody else. 15.15, a meeting record just to kick us off. Incidentally, got a nice following wind down that back straight for the jumpers, so that'll be a good one to watch. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, what a start for Rojas in the triple jump.
So next on the track is the women's 800 meters, and I'm really looking forward to this. A mix of a couple of big names and young talent coming together in this. So the pace they've asked for is around about 56 to 57, which sounds a bit quick. Hannah Green will be on the outside, Winnie Nanyondo. A bit disappointing for her not just to miss out on a medal last year, 2 years ago now. Now here, Keely Hodgkinson. Great Britain have got 3 of the top 4 800-meter runners in the world, but this is the youngest and the newest of the talents, coached by Trev Painter, and Jenny Meadows also helping out, I'm sure, and all of her experience will help. And then she's be up against a world champion, 1500 meters, of course, so Faith Kipyegon. Great to see her here going in the shorter distance. Faith, looking forward to seeing her first big race of this year. Her personal best set here last year, 1:57. And then Alemu, who had such a fantastic indoor season. She's going to be in lane 2. You saw Natoya Goul as well. And then Hedda Heine will be on the inside in lane 1. The Norwegian, the national record holder, which actually she broke last year in Bellinzona. She's 31 now, but having a really good resurgence, latter part of her career, if you like. So the American Green, Nanyondo of Uganda, Arafi of Morocco, Keely Hodgkinson, a 19-year-old Brit, Faith Kipyegon, Olympic champion, world champion at 1500 meters in the past. So the women's 800, 2 laps of the track as ever. It'll be interesting to see how Alemu tries to take this on. Hasn't started too quickly, and Yondo's gone off pretty quick. Alemu just starting to move through now in lane 2. You can see there Keely Hodgkinson, who often likes to get out there in front, might just be watching the 1 or 2 of the more experienced athletes, and Keely just slotting in behind the pace, and Alemu comes across, and Nanyondo Gould a little bit. Just trying to hold the inside curve there through the first 200 meters. Didn't quite get a split, but it looked pretty quick for the pacemaker. And the others have just sat in behind here. So it's going to be slow and a little bit tactical. The pace is away and gone. not what we want to see, Chris, necessarily. We're hoping for a quick time here.
We were. We're just keeping a close eye on Keely Hodgkinson, of course. This is a Diamond League debut. This is a real step up in class and a real test of how good she is. She had a brilliant indoor season, of course, but so far so good, doesn't look overawed.
At the front then, really, Alemu sitting on the shoulder, rather surprisingly, of Nanyondo. Arafi is Gould, excuse me, at the front there. Keely Hodgkinson, the European indoor champion, and Kipyegon a little bit trapped on the curb there. Keely Hodgkinson in a good place to strike. Will she have the pace and the strength with this sort of field here? Kipyegon looking for a little bit of room on the inside as Gould just gets a little bit of a nudge from behind. Nanyondo as well. All the elbows are out here. Hodgkinson on the outside. It's Kipyegon finds the gap, uses her experience, the 1500-meter expert, and looking very strong here. Hodgkinson struggling as the pace picks up here. So it's Faith Kipyegon striking out from home. Alemu can't chase at the moment. Gould got nothing either. Rafi there. Hodgkinson trying to rally again in the home straight. But look at this. Faith Kipyegon striding away. This is a real turn of pace, showing the 800-meter women how it's done. Faith Kipyegon announcing herself to 2021, 1:58.24. Superb run from Faith Kipyegon. That was incredibly impressive. Not quite a personal best, but when you consider the first lap, I'd love to see the split for that last 200 meters. That is about strength, it is about pace, and it is about ability, of course it is. But Faith Kipyegon showing that at 800 meters, she's as much of a force to be reckoned with as she is at 1500 meters, and what a confidence boost that will be for her for the longer distance.
Very much so. Kipyegon showing all her experience there and just squeezing through that gap, using just the allowed amount of physicality, getting her elbows out and making sure she got that inside line, and that was key because then it gave her a clear shot down the back straight, and there we are. Alemu couldn't do anything about it. Keeping an eye on Hodgkinson there just on left of picture, who didn't look out of place at all in a really quality field, but that's a measure of what lies ahead for the likes of Hodgkinson. You step up a level.
I think I'm going to have to wait to try and see. I'm just trying to look on the computer to try and get an idea of Faith's first lap, but it was a big negative split that. And you don't often see that in women's 800-meter running, not running 1:58. I reckon she went through in over 60 seconds, and she may well have come back in 58, most of which was in that last 200. Hugely impressive. Faith Kipyegon. Gould, the US-based Jamaican, very good run from her as well. Arafi, a season's best. Then Alemu, Hodgkinson fifth.
So the final three in the women's discus. This is a new format being trialled this year. The best three athletes after the first 5 rounds go head-to-head in a winner-takes-all shootout. So the first 5 rounds are wiped clean, and we're just seeing here the best throws of how they got there. So our top three are Sandra Perkovic from Croatia, Yami Perez there. So in second place, and Valerie Allman. Val Allman, the US record holder, with her best effort, which came in round 4, 65.57 for Allman. So they throw in reverse order, and it's a winner-takes-all 6th round. So the first 5 rounds effectively, and there are our 3 finalists, if you like, for the final 3. Allman, Perez and Perkovic. So Caballero on this occasion missing out. And those throws that got them to the final 3 will be worth nothing. It's a winner-takes-all final 6th round, and they will throw in reverse order.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much of Val Allman, have we, on the Diamond League circuit? As you said, the new American record holder, over 70 meters. What a performance from her. Was I think perhaps at she came to the World Championships a couple of years ago, gaining experience all the time. You can't get any more experience than Sandra Perkovic, of course, and she'll be the first to go in this new format. So, chance to really set the stall out for her because she's going 3rd. The other 2 will have to then try and react. As Chris says, the throws that got them here. 65.57 for Allman, the best of the competition so far, but that doesn't matter. She's going to have to throw, if she wants to win this, better than anything Perkovic and Perez can do in this final three format.
And one of the reasons we should say for the new format is to give maximum focus and attention on the athletes in each of the field events. So often they get sidetracked if there's action on the track going on, and sometimes it all rather gets lost. So we're giving, rightly so, maximum attention to, in this case, the women's discus, the best three. So just waiting for Sandra Perkovic with a lifetime best of 71.41. And remember, 63.60 was her opening effort, which got her here. That will count for nothing. So a two-time and reigning Olympic champion, twice world champion, 5 times, and still reigning European champion, Sandra Perkovic. She's enjoyed her time in Doha. She's won here on her last 3 visits. Can she make it 4 out of 4? So Perkovic then, first to go in the final 3 in the women's discus.
Well, that doesn't set a marker for the others, does it? No. See, this is the issue, Chris. You know, if you... She's not happy.
No.
You know, a no throw or no jump takes the pressure completely off the others, obviously.
It does, and this was quite a dramatic no throw, wasn't it? Just completely lost her balance, and you can see the frustration. And of course, the advantage of the throwers who go second and then first is that they have the advantage of knowing what they've got to do. And, well, without being too unkind, they haven't got much to do, Perez and Allman. So frustration there for Perkovic, whose 4th victory in Doha will not happen.
This is where, you know, Perez is hugely experienced. Does she go, right, I'll just get a decent throw in, or does she take the risk of going for something big? Perez then, second to go. And that looked solid, didn't it? But it isn't really, you don't think, going to put too much pressure on the American now. So that looked like, let's just get one out there. So what, was it around 61 meters thereabouts? We'll see it measured in a second, and then for her, she was already second coming into the final 3. The worst she's going to do is come second. 61.35. So that's what Val Allman has to beat if she's to win this competition. And given that all 3, actually no, yes, 3 of her throws in the main, I'm going to say the main competition, the first 5 rounds were further than that. So let's see if she goes here.
Well, she knows what she's got to do, and she's got a real opportunity here. Val Allman, as we mentioned earlier on, women's discus has been dominated by Perez and Perkovic and Caballero. Allman, that massive 70-meter personal best earlier in the season, setting her up beautifully here. So 61.35 the target for victory. No, it's fallen short. Dear, dear me. Well, disappointing from Val Allman, who went into the final 3, and this is the interesting talking point. The leader going into the final 3 is more often than not, or often not, the winner ultimately, and that's what's happened here. So Perez comes through with victory with 61.35, 58.58, a disappointing final throw in the end for Val Allman, and disappointing too for Sandra Perkovic.
Well, what a time to have your worst throw of the competition, pretty much. But Perez, she doesn't look too happy about it, but she ends up the winner in the discus. Men's 1500 coming up shortly. We'll catch up maybe with a little bit of pole vault before we get to the men. They're already out there on the back straight. No crowd in here in the Qatar Sports Club. There we see confirmation then of Perez winning that discus, 61.35 in the final 3. And Allman, despite having thrown 65 meters in the 4th round, ends up second, Perkovic third. Well, this woman leads the world this year with a 493 vault earlier in the week back home in Georgia, Katie Najat. And bar now at 484. First time clearances for her so far. 450, 464, 474. So she's leading the competition. We've already seen the world champion Sidorova go out. Incidentally, Alicia Newman and Angelica Bengtsson also going out rather surprisingly at early heights. Newman no heighting at all, completely. Well done. Yeah, she's in top form. Najat really is vaulting well. She actually had her poles snapped 2-3 weeks ago, flying internally in the US.
And she was using borrowed poles for the 493.
I saw them. She put them in a bin at the airport.
Sandy Morris then, who was on great form in the press conference yesterday, Steve was saying, talking quite openly and honestly about the world record one day. She's the second highest vaulter in history behind Yelena Isinbayeva. Here she is. Yes, nice. Safely over at 484, second attempt. Really charismatic athlete. Made a few technical changes, she was saying, during the enforced lockdown. So equals world lead.
Here we are then, the men's 1500 meters on the far side of the track, and a chance to see for the first time in 2021 Timothy Cheruiyot, the world champion. Really looking forward to seeing him go here. Very good field. Many of them have run fast here in Doha in the past. Not to mention, of course, the World Championships themselves. And pace being set by Eric Savinsky in sign of Kenya. A very quick pace. You know, Cheruiyot has not been beaten at 1500 meters since we were here for the Diamond League in the beginning of World Championship year. So May 3rd, 2019. He went through the rest of the season unbeaten. And he ran 3:29 in that World Championship final. There's Stuart McSweyn, who's had such a big year, new Australian record in 2020, looks in good form in 21 as well. And then this man, rather surprisingly, representing his home country here of Qatar, leads the world rankings at the minute. Adam Ali Musab, who we saw run in the cold and the wet of Gateshead. I'm sure he'll enjoy these conditions much more. El Bakkali couldn't get out of Morocco. He was meant to run the steeplechase in Gateshead. He's here in Doha, the steeplechaser, and then the very experienced Australian Ryan Gregson on the inside. Amongst others here to watch out for, his teammate Matt Ramsden in this as well, Vincent Kibet, Ronald Musagala, and Bethwell Bergen, and Samuel Tefera. And some of the names I've just been mentioning. There's Musagala. I'm not quite sure I'm seeing Tefera. Oh, there he is. I was wondering where he was. So Tefera, 21-year-old world indoor champion from 3 years ago. Men's 1500. Well, let's hope the pacing, they've got a couple of very experienced pacers here. Eric Savinsky is normally pretty good at hitting the mark, so we'll ask for around about 151, and we'll get an idea, won't we? We've seen Faith Kipyegon in that 800 meters show that she's in fantastic form. First time out. Is Timothy Cheruiyot going to show us something similar? He's just sat off at the moment. As others go chasing the pace. Tefera moving up. Cheruiyot with that familiar forward lean. There he is, following Stuart McSweyn. As they come through the first 300 meters, around about 40 seconds, tad quick, but you've got to get them stretched out, got to get them moving. Savinsky will just settle down a little bit, looking for something around about 55, 56 seconds. And Cheruiyot now slotted nicely into his rhythm behind the tall Australian as they come round to complete 400 meters. 54.30 for the pacemaker, and make Cheruiyot round about 55 and a half.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how Cheruiyot sets out his stall here. He'll have watched, I'm sure, with interest, Jakob Ingebrigtsen in Gateshead last weekend, as we keep saying, in, well, couldn't be more different conditions, and that was a brilliant performance by Ingebrigtsen. And Cheruiyot, talking very bullishly, said he'd love to go under 3:30 here this evening, but he's just stalking McSweyn at the moment.
McSweyn's the one who won here in 2020. It wasn't a full Diamond League event, ran just outside 3:30 for that Australian record, and so he'll be hoping to try and emulate that performance here, but they are going quick here. They'll be up to sign to try and keep this moving. Look how well stretched they are. Tefera following with McSweyn, then Cheruiyot, then El Bakkali, the steeplechase specialist, and then behind him the world lead this year, Musab from Qatar. So they go through 800 Let's see, 150.77 spot on. They're asked for 151, so pace is good. It's fast, it's very fast. And Chariot tucked in behind McSwain at this point. Now, can Sign keep this going?
Well, McSwain is so aggressive, isn't he? He's always a joy to watch. What a contrast in style there, and Chariot just with that forward-leaning style, instantly recognisable. And El Bakkali just lurking. We don't really know much about El Bakkali's form at the moment. As you say, couldn't get to Gateshead last weekend.
So it's Tefera who now leads this because the pacemaker has had enough. He can't keep this hot pace going. And Chariot looks comfortable. McSwain working hard. El Bakkali hanging on. And these are well ahead of the world lead. Musab of Qatar has a big gap now. And Bergen's starting to move up. But 2:34 at the bell. The 3:30 well on the cards here. 4 men in contention. Now it's about winning it. Look at El Bakkali looking feisty, looking dangerous. McSwain on the inside as Chariot moves up on Tefera. Tefera trying to hold him off. 2:48 through 1,200 meters. And a fast time is on if Chariot can finish this off. Tefera lets him move to the front. A little sly glance from Chariot to see if there's any threat on the outside. None appearing at the moment. It's Chariot, the world champion. 200 meters to go. McSwain is still there. El Bakkali looks as though his race has run. Needs to hang on for a fast time. Chariot hasn't got this one though. Tefera sticking to him like glue as they come into the home straight. Just a meter between them. Chariot another look behind. Tefera tries to raise his game, can't match Chariot, and Chariot just extends away. McSwain fighting for second place, but it's Timothy Chariot. Will it be under 3:30? It's going to be close, just outside. McSwain gets second, El Bakkali third, Tefera fourth, Bergen comes in for fifth, and then the others running in through and around 34-35. Well, Tim Chariot, can I call him Tim? I always call him Timothy. Let's stick with Timothy. Timothy, well done. First one out. It's, you know, when you can come out first race, bang, 3:30, low 3:30s. Well done, McSwain. I mean, for McSwain, I'd have to check, but I suspect that's his second fastest ever. So, knows and shows that he can stick with Chariot in a hard race until that last 50, 60 meters when he is so strong. Will lead for the world champion.
Well, it's quietly impressive, isn't it, Chariot? Just unfussy and goes about his business. I just got the sense that he had a little bit more in reserve. And it was only, what, in the last 80 meters or so, he just started pulling away from the rest. Almost imperceptibly, really. Just increasing the tempo, the cadence, and not really seeming to be working very hard at all. Swain coming through, always a joy to see him. And that's very impressive indeed. So both Chariot and Ingebrigtsen in successive Diamond League races on successive weekends, making winning starts to their seasons.
Well, we've talked about Rojas, of course. She's taking over the mantle of the queen of the triple jump from Katarina Ibargüen. Ooh, she heard that? Been struggling tonight with her run-up. I said the wind was behind them. She's had a couple where the wind was just popping over the 2 meters per second. Really hasn't been able to find a rhythm at all. And again there, no jump. So Ibargüen at this point, again, final three operating in the triple jump. And we've seen Rojas, Ricketts and Williams in the box seat, as it were. Ricketts has already gone out to 14.60. This the fourth round for the Jamaican, who's been in very, very good form. Oh, and that might be better. Now you can see that top three lines a little bit deceptive. Sorry, on the kind of graphics, we're trying to. You can see they shift as the camera shifts, but it's more important that she knows and coach knows that is a very good leap indeed. So Shanika Ricketts with her teammate Kimberly Williams right in the mix here. Rojas with that 15.15 right in the first round. No one's going to get beyond that, I don't think, from the rest of the field. Ibargüen in a day, but certainly not tonight. 14.88, well, that's the season's best. Second place confirmed for Shanika Ricketts.
Well, Ricketts has been in great form, winner in Gateshead last weekend. Now Rojas with her fourth jump. No jumps in rounds 2 and 3 after that extraordinary 15.15 in the opener. So here she goes with her fourth jump. Not as committed. No, not happy with that at all, Rojas, but really has done the hard work. Surely guaranteed her place in the final three with that opening. And just 7 centimetres, worth just reiterating how close she is to that long-standing world record. Inessa Kravitz, 15.50. 7 centimetres, about the width of a mobile phone.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm reliably informed. Well, I don't know how big yours is.
He says just having a look at his phone. Yeah, you could see there. I mean, when she came down and she's taking off 30 centimetres behind the board, then immediately the steam goes out of the jump as well, doesn't it? Because she knows. Women's steeplechase coming up shortly. They're just getting ready in the call-up room. Next on the track is actually the men's 200 metres. A little bit of field to catch up on before we see that. No Chepkoech, incidentally, Beatrice Chepkoech in that there's Krauser there, medalist from the World Champs last year. Actually, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th from the World Champs, but no Chepkoech, who was a late withdrawal overnight, sadly.
So Katie Najot then at the bar at 4 metres 90, 3rd attempt. Needs to rediscover the same sort of form that took her to 4.93 earlier in the week. So, 3rd attempt, 4.90. No, not to be here in Doha on this occasion. Katie Najot, so she will depart with 4.84, her best effort.
Incidentally, for those watching or hoping to see different people, we saw Stefanidi early on, went out at 4.84. Sutej Shuk, we mentioned Sidorova, we did see her. Holly Bradshaw of Great Britain on countback will get 3rd place, having cleared 4.74, 64 and 50 at the first attempt. But all of them failing at 4.84. Only Najot here and Sandy Morris, who saw both of them go clear. So this was Morris. At 90, chance to win it outright here from Najot, who on countback going into 4 meters 90 was leading, having not failed until we got to this height. And Morris having had a couple of failures earlier, one at 4.50 when she first began her competition, and again at 4.84 the first attempt. Yeah, Sandy Morris, just a great character, isn't she, for the sport. She's only got 3 pet snakes now. She one time 28. Now she looked after all of them, but anyway, only 3 now. She's got an interesting life away from track and field as well, Sandy Morris, but an incredible talent. 3rd attempt. No. Well, sadly for Sandy Morris, 2nd place tonight, and it's, as I said before, been 2nd place so many times at major champs for her. She will be hoping this is her year, an Olympic year, but many competitions between now and Tokyo for these women, but for the time being, it's her teammate, Katie Najot, who will come out on top tonight, clearing 4.84. Both of them going clear at 4.84, but on countback, having both of them failed at 4.90, it's Najot who wins tonight. There she is. So good week for her, world lead, 4.93 in Georgia, and then comes to Doha and wins the Diamond League. First women's pole vault Diamond League of the season.
Yeah, confirmation there, Najot and Morris, a US 1-2. Holly Bradshaw, we should say, continuing her excellent season in 3rd place.
Best seats in the house, and as I said, we don't have spectators in tonight as such. A few of the other athletes, coaches, etc., of course, are in, and some athletes ran in some events earlier. A lot of the local athletes getting the chance to compete on the same evening as the Diamond League, and they'll be, I'm sure, watching with interest as we move to the men's 200.
A men's 200 that features the in-form Kenny Bednarek against a couple of very, very talented Canadians. There is the lineup in full, and some very, very familiar names, not least this man, Justin Gatlin, still going strong at the age of 39. Olympic champion, of course, back in 2004 Athens. Still a very divisive figure in the sport after those doping bans, but still producing extraordinary performances. One in Tokyo in an Olympic test event a few weeks ago. There is Bednarek, he goes in lane 6. Fabulous form, 4th fastest with the trademark headband. One in Ostrava in the cold, and then Gateshead in the rain into a really strong headwind. Andre de Grasse was also in Gateshead last weekend, Olympic silver medalist and bronze medalist over 100 metres. A little bit disappointed with his showing last weekend, 3rd in the northeast of England. Former world champion Ramil Guliev goes in 4, not the force he was, hasn't run sub-20 since September 2019. Adam Jamili in lane 2, former European champion. Got a great start in Gateshead last weekend, but looked a little sluggish overall. But has recovered from a serious foot injury. Emmanuel Matadi from Liberia, former African bronze medalist, goes in lane 2, and then completing the lineup in 1, Atou Cisse from Ivory Coast. Set a lifetime best and national record here last September. So the men's 200 metres. But Bednarek, very much the form athlete, in lane 6. So the lineup in 4 from the inside. Cisse, Ivory Coast in 1. Matadi, Liberia, goes in 2. Adam Jamili from Great Britain in 3. Guliev, the former world champion, in 4. De Grasse, Canada, in 5. Bednarek in 6. Aaron Brown, we missed him in the introductions. He goes in 7 from Canada. And Gatlin, former Olympic champion, goes in lane 8. Men's 200 metres. Well, away they go, and Bednarek was a convincing winner last weekend and ran a superb bend, and already he's up on the shoulder of Aaron Brown. Also going well is De Grasse and Brown, but Bednarek coming away again. Bednarek being pushed all the way by De Grasse coming back at him very, very strongly indeed. Oh, it's very tight on the line. 1988. Again, a slight tailwind pushing them round. Bednarek, you know, I thought he was comfortable in getting home there, but De Grasse pushed him all the way. And that will take some separating. De Grasse maybe thinks he's just got it on the line. Brilliant last 50 metres from De Grasse. Bednarek, who's won his last 2 races, perhaps a little complacent, and De Grasse thinks he's got it.
You're looking at me. Close, isn't it? Incredibly close. I'm really pleased, actually, that we have got such a good race there. Adam Jamili just congratulating him. But what a fast race. And it's been given to Bednarek, to the American. Now, it couldn't be much closer. It's come as a 100th, actually. I bet it's into the thousandths of a second. De Grasse really charging. And you thought 10 metres out, his momentum was going to take him past Bednarek. Then just faltered, if you like. Watch this. The American in lane 6, not as good. I think De Grasse got slightly the better start. He's been talking a lot about Tokyo, the opportunity that's opened up in the 100 metres. No Christian Coleman, of course. And I think Gateshead, wet and cold, but tonight a really much better measure of where he's at. And the tall American here just finds a little bit to hold the Canadian off when he looked as though he was surging past him. These two well ahead of everybody else. Aaron Brown ran well, but De Grasse, I think he's going to be absolutely delighted with this. A big step forward from what we've seen so far, and under 20 seconds, you know, he's going to be going for the double. This for him is a massive year. Medals in the past, but open races. No allows, of course, everyone will look to Bednarek and others in the 200. The 100 looks open, but what a good confidence booster for both men over the 200 metres, over the longest sprint distance tonight.
Well, he's got 2 fingers up, but that's a 3rd consecutive win for Bednarek. Ostrava, Gateshead, and now Doha. Well, that was close.
So the final 3 in the triple jump. We've seen some of the women who before in their best jumps. This is how Kimberly Williams of Jamaica qualified for the final 3. This was her best effort of the competition. Actually came in round 5, 14.69. She had a very good series. Was in the top 3 all the way through. Ricketts similarly so. Nobody else really getting close, although word about Thierry Lafond, who did jump 14.57 in round 3, but not good enough to topple Rojas. There's 15.15 in round 1. Shanika Ricketts and Kimberly Williams. So they're the three women who are going to contest the final. So we've had a 15-15 from Rojas. Since then, 3 no jumps, 1 miles behind the board in round 4. What will she do? What can she give us in the final? And there's similarly Shanika Ricketts, well, 14.98. It sort of gets lost in this qualification for you here, but make no mistake, look at that. Shanika Ricketts, 14.98, a personal best, a big personal, well, not a big personal best, 5 centimeters from what she jumped in Zurich a couple of years ago. But is this where this field event format can come to life here in this triple jump for women? Kimberly Williams, Shanika Ricketts, and Yulimar Rojas. It'll be Kimberly Williams to go first. She's already on the runway, ready to go. We'll get another introduction here. Rojas, a lot of people maybe don't know too much about her. She's based in Spain, the Venezuelan who's a big star on the circuit. Grew up on a farm, I think, just outside Caracas, 6 siblings. Here's for one for you, a favourite superhero. I'll come back, I'll ask Chris that in a second, who thinks it is. Shanika Ricketts, well, can she go 15 meters? Join that exclusive club, still an exclusive club. 15-meter triple jumpers, well, it's fairly exclusive. And then Williams, her compatriot, silver medal at the Commonwealth Games, both in
Sorry, I lost the nail.
the Gold Coast.
She's lost a nail.
Well, you know, I
These
thought it was a
things happen,
spike.
Steve.
I thought it was a spike in the bottom of her shoe that was going to the bottom, but it was actually a nail. Unless, you know, that's her term for a spike. Anyway. Okay, here we go then. Kimberly Williams of Jamaica, 32-year-old. Very close to her. In fact, she did set a personal best. Just, excuse me, just sneaked her personal best. Not quite as good. That's at 14.69 for her in that 5th round. The wind has been so helpful, just under 2 meters per second. So the 2 Jamaican women really are performing brilliantly. So she added 5 centimeters on her personal best. Absolute apologies, Kimberly, for not mentioning that in explaining this format. Doesn't look as far, does it? It's coming as 14.45 for the Jamaican. That's decent. 3rd spot, where she was starting off, possibly where she'll end up. You'd think Rojas, but of course the 2 of them could no jump. That could be good enough to win.
Well, that was the final 3 so exciting. It's the unpredictability of it. But Ricketts has been predictably very, very impressive in recent weeks. So her target, 14.45, a modest target, but of course Rojas to follow. So does she go big, or does she go safe? Well, that is...
Is it red flag?
Red flag. I just hesitated. It just felt, yeah, quite appreciably into the plasticine. So disappointment there for Ricketts.
See, that's a shame, isn't it? On a day that you jump 14.98, and then in the showcase part of the event, you have a no jump. She went for it. I think that was a good long, you know, possibly in the 70s, 14.70, maybe 14.80, thereabouts. Hard to tell sometimes with the graphic on the side. But she was in 2nd place. Now she's relegated to 3rd, possibly. Well, you know, at best, because if Rojas no jumps, she jumped further in the top 5 rounds. Anyway, what was the answer to the superhero?
Well, I know she describes herself as a warrior. I don't know if that's a clue.
Batman.
Batman.
She likes Wonder Woman,
yeah,
but Batman's a favorite, apparently. See if she can fly. Yulimar Rojas of Venezuela. 15.15 in round 1 of the competition. This to win in the final 3. 14.45 set by Kimberly Williams. The mark to beat. Here she goes. Can she hit the mark? Behind the board, but then stretches out once more, close to 15 meters, even though I think she took off with room to spare. A little bit of a shout. She's not happy with it. Yep. 29 centimeters behind the board. If she jumps 15 meters with 29 centimeters to spare, just gives you an idea of where she is at the moment. Well, let me tell you, 15 meters and 11 centimeters for the world champion. And I keep saying this, surely soon to be the world record holder. Add those 29 centimeters on, had she been perfect. Just add 20 on and it becomes a 15:30 jump. She's way ahead of the rest of the world at the minute, despite the fact that those two women jumped superbly tonight. A great women's triple jump competition. Rojas rising to the occasion at the end here. She wins it from Williams, and Ricketts gets relegated after that final three to third place, despite 14.98.
Well, utterly dominant in this event, Rojas, and it surely is only a matter of time before she does become the world record holder as well. Confirmation then, 15:11, the winning jump in the jump off, but let's not forget she jumped 15:15 in the opening round of the competition in regulation play.
So over to the, well, we're still on the far side of the track. Women's triple jump down the back straight on the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase lined up. Sadly, I mentioned that Beatrice Chepkoech was a late withdrawal, so it leaves the way open, but a very, very good field. The second, third, fourth and fifth placed athletes from the World Championships are here, including Emma Coburn of the USA, former world champion, of course, in 2017, and then took the silver medal in 2019. And as we go down the line, Krause, who followed Coburn home. What a superb year she had in 2 years, 2018, 2019, and well last year as well. Not quite sure of her form this year. Yavi, who seems to have been around such a long time now. And then there you can see Kieng, former world champion in 2015. So we've got the world champion from 15, world champion from 17, and of course, two medalists from 2019 as well. So plenty to look forward to here. Even the likes of Chepan Gaitic, who may not be such a well-known name, but has run under 9:10 for this distance in Monaco 2-3 years ago. So the women's steeplechase, just over 7.5 laps of the track. The water jump on the inside. They won't take that the first time round, and the first barrier they'll have to face will be after they've covered just over 200 meters. So they still want to go out at a pretty decent pace, and that's they just need to be careful here, because without Chepkoech, who would have chased the pace, I'm pretty sure, as young Chirono heads off and Chiruto behind. The likes of Coburn and Kieng, be interested to see whether they want to take this on, whether they want to go for a quick time. They have been asked for around about a 9.6 to 9.8 sort of pace, and jostling just before they take that first barrier there. But so I think that's sensible. You know, anything maybe around about the 9.10 and see if you can finish quickly.
Looking forward to seeing what Emma Coburn, what sort of shape she's in. It's her first steeple since the World Championships in this same city. She ran a 5,000 meter personal best back in February, and she paced Sifan Hassan to a 14:35 in California as well. It's first time in the steeplechase this season, and she's just what, about fifth or sixth, the tall, blonde, unmistakable figure of Emma Coburn.
Yeah, Colorado-based, and watched that race in it's pretty much a high school track in Irvine, California. Certainly looked in shape, and looked from the perspective of running a flat 3K. She did. I said I'm interested as well to see Krause. You know, she ran indoors, ran a couple of 1500s, a couple of other races, and I think at times looked pretty good, but again, translating outdoors and what's happened since then, you know, how much training have they got, how the camp's gone since then. Coburn based at altitude. Krause likes to, not sure where she's been, normally likes to go to South Africa. As those two are heading off, nobody really interested in Kieng and Yavi leading the pack. Coburn just happy to take a ride, if you like, early on here as the two pacemakers continue to set a pace which is good for them, but at the moment nobody in the field too interested.
Yeah, they've obviously decided just to ignore the pacemakers and just run their own race. And Yavi, it is, who's leading them out, but it's almost slow, doesn't it? It's almost pedestrian.
Well, I think once the break between the pack and the pacemaker is made, then you find yourself at the front of the pack, and there's just always a bit of uncertainty, and you can see there, you know, trying to look around. Kiang's wondering what's happening behind her. Where's everybody else? Is nobody want to kind of take this on? I'm effectively leading the race. I'm kind of the second pacemaker. So that's probably why, though. See, until you get the kilometre mark, because the water jump is on the inside and we're not getting straightforward laps, that's why. So the pack are doing a smart thing here. So very good pace judgment by the likes of Coburn and the others. They've gone through in about 3 minutes. The pace at the front too quick.
Yeah, too quick. Went through in about 2:55 first kilometre. They were asked for 3:02, so way too quick, and just shows you what that internal racing brain does. They know what 2:55 feels and what 3 minutes feels.
So Geruto will get swallowed up fairly soon, and then we've got this bunch of talent, really, including a baby. We've talked many times, the Ethiopian here. A few really good Ethiopians have actually managed to make the proper good transition. The African junior champion from a few years back, still only 20, and won the All-African Games in 2019. So ran at altitude 9:51, but has decided she's going to try and stick with a more experienced Kiang. Coburn not quite sure what to do here, because those three are moving away. You got the pacemaker at the front. Geruto herself is a very good runner, but Kiang, Abebe, Yavi, Coburn knows that she'd love to get on the back, but the pace is pretty quick for this stage of the season. So she'll probably just hope that they'll come back to her rather than trying to work too hard to try and give chase at this point, because she obviously feels as though she can't do that. So Kiang looking good, looking solid, and is going to swallow up Geruto pretty quickly here.
Well, she's not to be underestimated, Kiang. Former world champion, as we mentioned, in Beijing. Gosh, that's 6 years ago this year. And it seems like yesterday when she was taking the world title in front of a packed crowd, and that's how times have changed as well.
Yeah, the Olympic silver medalist from Rio seems so long ago, and Geruto's keeping this going here. She was asked to try and keep going as long as they could. I'm not even sure Geruto went to with the pace thinking, I'm going to keep going with this. So I might be doing her a disservice here. I said in her own right, you know, as a 9-minute runner, she's certainly not pacing here. So Geruto, having gone off as hard as she did, settling in here, and I thought that Kiang was just going to go past her. Often when you come up to an athlete, the thing to do, but Geruto's responded, held the lead. The young Ethiopian, Abebe, still just having a little look behind as that gap to Yavi, and then Coburn just getting a little bit closer.
Yeah, difficult position for Coburn. Does she go or does she tuck in and consolidate? And she just looks as though she's getting cut adrift here. She's going to have to work hard to get back to this trio in front of her.
Yeah, I think Kiang now deciding the time is to try and force the issue here with Geruto. That a much slower kilometre, and we'd expected 6:02. So effectively, the others have run even pace, but Geruto after a 2:56 and then going through in 6:02. So 3:06 for her second kilometre, whereas the others ran about 3:1, 3:2 for the second kilometre. Krauser just going through the picture there. Coburn will try and work to close the gap to Yavi, but we've got Geruto, Kiang and Abebe out in front here as they come around with 2 to go.
Well, one into the last kilometre now, and it's a tall order for Emma Coburn. Kiang just starting to stretch the elastic band here, just starting to wind things up, and these four well clear.
And Yavi's made a great effort to get back on terms with these, as maybe they're just starting to look at each other. Pace just dropped a little bit again on that previous lap. So Geruto, Kiang, Abebe deciding, I'm not going to wait for a sprint here. My best chance might be to try and force this pace. All of them hurdling pretty well. Yavi perhaps not with the best of the technique of the three of these. And technique, of course, when you're tired and you're trying to sprint, really does come into it in the steeplechase. So approaching the water jump for the penultimate time. Geruto still leading. Abebe now cut into the inside. Kiang and Yavi, you have to hand it to Geruto. And again, My mistake for thinking because she went off with the pace, that they were pushing it. She has recovered and managed to pull herself back together despite that very quick first 1,000 meters and the rest of the field catching her. So we're taking the bell. 3 women now. Yavi once more just losing contact as the pace just starts to quicken as the pressure is applied. All 3 of them in unison taking that barrier. Next one as they head into the back straight. Abebe once more decides I'll cut in, just trying to look behind to see for any danger. Geruto, where she's been all the time, leading this. Kieng allowing her to do so as they head down the back straight. Another look behind from the young Ethiopian. No danger from Yavi, and it doesn't look as though she thinks perhaps, or can she contest this? No room on the inside, needs to watch it. Got very tight to that barrier, baby, and lost momentum, lost distance as well. Geruto now, 2 meters ahead, maybe 1.5 meters from Kieng. The Olympic silver medalist, the African Games champion from a few years ago, is leading it. Oh, and there she's gone. Kieng falls at the water jump. Geruto loses concentration, Kieng, and Geruto now has got the way clear. One more barrier for her to clear. Over it safely. Abebe takes second. Yavi's in third at the moment, but it's going to be Geruto sprinting away close to 9 minutes, just outside. Abebe crossing the line, and that is a big performance from her. She takes a massive chunk off her time, or personal best before, and then a sprint there. You can see their crowds are trying to hold off Miss Mass. Well, a race which started for Geruto as though she was going off at world record pace, almost looked as though she was helping the pacemaker. Then she slowed, the pack caught her, then the pressure came from Kieng in particular, and Abebe on the last lap. Kieng falters at the water jump. Geruto may have won it anyway. I think she looked good, and she certainly finished very strongly indeed, and ends up with a time just outside 9 minutes, and not only a personal best, but a new national record for the 20-year-old Abebe in second place.
Well, what a curious race. Geruto, I, like you, thought she was on pacemaking duties, but went out really, really hard, was reeled in. That's unfortunate for Kieng there, but she did well to recover and still come home in 4th place, ahead of Emma Coburn, who incidentally came home in 9:08. And this is what can happen when you've got really tired legs. Cleared the barrier okay, but just landed awkwardly.
So Nora Geruto of Kenya leading throughout that 3,000-metre steeplechase. A disappointing fall for the favourite, Hyven Kieng. A very different atmosphere in Doha from last weekend. No crowds, but no rain either. Temperatures slightly more favourable for the athletes. Well, we'll be back to Doha in just a moment for the men's 800 metres, but there was news this week as British hammer thrower Sophie Hitchen announced her retirement from the sport. Sophie won an historic bronze medal at the Rio Olympics, but has struggled with her fitness and decided the time was right to step away. We wish her all the best. Back to Doha now, and keep an eye out for Daniel Roden, the British 800 metres champion, making his Diamond League debut, who we'll see in just a moment. Also still to come, the women's 100 metres. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, the Jamaican, and the favourite. She came 4th in Gateshead last weekend, but conditions not the best there, as we mentioned. Back to Stephen Chris now.
European indoor silver medalist. This is his first outdoor competition of 2021. He's a 240 jumper at best. Yeah, that's nice. Nice from Protsenko. 33 years old now. Veteran of 6 World Championships, but has never qualified for the final. Really nice, smooth, long, rangy approach to the bar.
So this is Ivanyuk, Ilya Ivanyuk. .227, another that was cleared recently to compete. Very nicely done, yeah. And for the Russian athletes, just for those of you who may not be aware, the federation was suspended and all of last year indoors as well. We've gone back to 2019. They have been competing, some of them, in Russia, in different places, different competitions. And for many, this is their first opportunity to come out. Been cleared to compete in the Diamond League recently. So Vanya goes clear and into the lead.
So here is Bashim, who was again put up for the press conference yesterday, not surprisingly. Delighted to be back competing again. Had his injury problems over the last few years as well. But one of the highlight moments of those World Championships in Doha, when he sailed over the bar to take the world title in front of an extraordinary crowd. One of the best evenings of that World Championships. Recently became a father and said in the press conference that he can't believe it's 10 years now that he's been on the circuit.
Do you know the last time he was in Japan, talking about 10 years, was in 2011 when he won in Kobe, winning the Asian Championships. So what was he then, at 18?
Yeah, must have been teenager, yeah. Men's 400-meter runners just getting ready in the call room on that exotic carpet that Steve mentioned earlier on. There was Michael Norman.
Yeah, we've got men's 800 before that 400 on the track, and the men's shot put will be the field we'll be concentrating on, along with the men's high jump in the sort of last, what is it, almost an hour of the program. Alemba first athlete we're going to see. Well, the men's shot, as ever, you mentioned the name of Krauser, Ryan Krauser. 23 meters already this year. Not here in Doha, but he is the world leader. But many others performing well so far this year. So Frank Alemba, early stages. We're going to see many throws a lot further than that, though.
Yeah, Tom Walsh, the standout name here in Doha this evening, against three very talented, in-form Eastern Europeans.
Yeah, Bukovetsky, 18:48 incidentally for Alemba. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how things pan out as this season goes on in the shot put. But this is an interesting man, representing Italy, but South African. Born and brought up with the Italian grandfather, it's Zane Weir. It's not a particularly Italian name, is it, Zane Weir? But he's very proud of both his country of birth and his country of heritage, as he calls it. So representing Italy now, and what a grand start to the year he's had with a new personal best of 21:11 in Potchefstroom earlier in the year. 2026, good start to his competition here tonight in the Diamond League, representing Italy for the first time in the Diamond League circuit, and of course he'll be hoping at the Olympic Games.
Next into the circle, Filip Mihailovic from Croatia, one of the aforementioned Eastern Europeans. 21:84 his lifetime best. And that's over 20 meters. Took bronze indoors in Torun at the European Indoors back in March. And a good victory in Ostrava as well a couple of weeks ago against a pretty high quality field. And he's one of the athletes here who could pose a bit of a threat to Tom Walsh. .2029, his opening throw puts him into the early lead.
Yeah, just 3 centimeters in it then. So Tom Walsh, of course, like the Australians and New Zealand, the whole coronavirus lockdown scenario has meant it's been a long wait to come out and compete in the world. So the world champion from 2017, and a big roar there, that's better. Now Tom Walsh gets this competition really fired up. He'd love to be peppering 22 meters and beyond, I'm sure. And that one, certainly 21.5 thereabouts, if we can use that term. Still got that pace, hasn't he? And so Walsh, look what he's got on his shirt. He's allowed to do that. 21:59, that's the lead for Tom Walsh. First round in the shot. Zambrano getting himself ready for the 400 to come. As I said, men's 800 will be before that on the track.
Yeah, no official spectators, but one or two athletes and coaches and family allowed in. So Druin with his second attempt at 2:27. The reigning Olympic champion, the world champion from Beijing in 2015. Essentially, this is his real first outdoor meeting for nearly 2 years. No, just hasn't got the rhythm tonight at all. And, well, that facial expression rather sums it up. He did jump 2:24 at a low-key meeting last week. Just wanted to sneak under the radar and get some outdoor experience and get something into his legs, but struggling here in Doha so far.
You know, he is the reigning Olympic champion, and it's been a long reign, of course,
Yeah.
longer than normal. But he'll want to try and improve tonight, not what he'd expect, even though he's had such a timeout. So, straight to third attempt. 2:27. Others already gone. Trey Culver, who we saw jump 2:33, I think it was indoors, if you remember. Alameen, the other Qatari high jumper in this, apart from Barshim. Donald Thomas as well, already gone. No. Just not feeling it, Derek Druin, and it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get anywhere near what he knows he'll be required to, well, even get to Tokyo in any sort of competitive shape, but not here tonight. So, the Olympic champion goes out at 2:27.
So next action on the track, the men's 800 meters, 2 laps of the track. And news in the last week or so that David Rudisha, not surprisingly, will not be defending his Olympic title in Tokyo, which is a shame. 2 pacemakers here. Pace will be done by Cornelius Tuwe. And we had Shepo Shite, the South African. 2 athletes from Qatar, Hassan and Herani, are going in this one. But the favourite, certainly on paper, Ferguson Rotich. Fond memories of Doha, when bronze at the World Championships here 2 years ago. We also won here in the Diamond League in this very stadium last September. And he's been in great form. There is Jamie Webb from Great Britain. Silver and bronze from the last 2 European indoors. And looking forward to seeing Daniel Roden, British champion, brilliantly to beat Jake Whiteman in the British Championships last time out. And Amal Tuka, 30 years old now, silver in Doha at those World Championships behind Donovan Brazier. Very strong finisher, look out for that, but possibly his best days behind him now. And then Wycliffe Kinyamal, the reigning Commonwealth Games champion, with Adrian Ben from Spain on the inside. But Rotich, Rowden and Tuka, certainly the names to look out for. Nigel Amos was a late withdrawal as well. Picked up a small injury, decided not to risk it. 2 laps of the track, men's 800 metres. Well, the pacing requested is 50 or 50.5 through the first 400 metres. And Rotich will keep an eye on him because he has a really strong finish. And Tuwe will come along from left of picture there, wearing pace just to keep closer order. And he's a very experienced pacemaker. Daniel Roden, nice to see him taking the front early on. This is a bit of a test for him. He was due to compete here in Doha last year, but had to withdraw. This is only his second ever Diamond League appearance, so a step up in class for the British champion. Tuka there, lurking, just keeping out of trouble with Rotich back in, what, 4th place as they hit the bell at 50.29, just inside the required pace.
Well, Rowden is certainly committed to this. Hassan going with him, Kinyamal. The others have just sat off it a little bit, and he's obviously considers himself to be in great shape here, and it's a good race to do this. I think it's not absolutely stacked, not absolutely loaded, so you can have a bit of a go at this. He's having a little look at the screen as they all start to gather a little bit, but he still looks pretty relaxed. 200 to go.
Rowden looking very, very good as two-way drops out, and Hassan stalking Rowden. So Rowden, Hassan, Kinyamal, Rotic with a little bit of work to do, but look out for the strong finish. Kinyamal, who's all arms and legs, makes his move into the home straight. Look out for Rotic, though, who can come late. Rowden has to be careful here. Kinyamal leading the way. Rowden starting to fade. Rotic has left it too late, surely. Tuka as well coming through strongly. But Kinyamal takes it, 1:43.91, the winning time. Rotic coming through to take second place, and Rowden, who went out aggressively, you can't criticise him for that. Good experience for the British champion, just fading slightly into third, but coming ahead of Amal Tuka. And it's a world lead. I've seen plenty of those, but Kinyamal, who can so often blow up, he likes to front run, but here gets ahead and has run the fastest time in the world this year, 1:43.91, and that will feel good to come ahead of his fellow Kenyan, Ferguson Rotic.
Yeah, the British athlete there were rewarded with a pretty good, very, very good start to the season. 1:44.6, nothing wrong with that at all. Tuka finished quickly, left too much to do. Wasn't close enough at 200 to go, but Kinyamal was. And the Commonwealth Games champion, I thought, was really impressive, I have to say, in the way that it looks like he really changes pace. What he does is he's just got that little bit of almost injection of extra strength there. They're all beginning to slow down the last 200, but he just, watch the attacks around the outside, and within 50 meters, he's gone from 3 meters down to 3 meters up, and away he's gone. Rotic battling hard to get himself into second place, and Rowden rewarded for going out hard and managing to stay strong in the home straight as well. Tuka, I think Tuka will be pretty pleased with that as well, to be honest. Others maybe a little bit disappointed further back, but just watch out. As you said, when Kinyamal gets it right, when he gets it right, he's definitely one to be reckoned with. Men's 800 though, you know, I'm really looking forward to this year. It looks like such a competitive year. No outstanding favourites. Of course, Donovan Frazier will be saying that I'm the favourite, and of course he may well be, but I think there's plenty of people who will challenge.
Kinyamal takes it then with a world lead, 1:43.91 ahead of Rotic, and Daniel Rowden getting through into third place, 1:44, with Tuka back in fourth, just behind.
Sinancevic, as we move to the shot put again. Foul on the first throw, that's better. Now, Tom Walsh was leading in round one with 21.59. Sinancevic, certainly an improvement there for him. New national record holder, 21.88, and indoors he threw 21.25 as well. He has a history of the NM, the no mark. He did very well in qualification at the World Championships. Big personal best, and then in the final, 3 no throws.
Here is Mustafa Hassan from Egypt with his third round throw, just shy of 21 meters. That looks pretty decent, actually, from the Egyptian. Places in the final 3, a reminder, up for grabs, this new format that's being trialled throughout this season, the entire season. 20.86, it is an improvement. And puts him into third place.
So Mihaljevic next to go, as Chris was saying earlier on, big win in Ostrava just recently, needs to get back in that top 3 now. Well, that might have done it. Needs to get close to that 21-meter mark. Just saw Hassan, 20.70, I think it was, 20.71 was it? So Mihaljevic will be hoping that that improves to 20.89, so that's going to move him up into third place. A few throws to go though, 3 rounds.
So Tom Walsh with his third round throw, looking to build on that 21.59. Not sure that has done it. But still looking good. Tom Walsh, world champion in London 4 years ago. He's already had a pretty busy 2021. 8 competitions, of course, as Steve was saying, has been rather grounded back in New Zealand.
Yeah, he was in Tucson, Arizona last week, and warming up, if you like, for the Doha conditions.
21.46, no improvement, but he remains in the lead.
Having a great time, those guys. Shot put. Top 3, as we said, Mihalovic still in 3rd place as we now move on to the 5th round. The best throws, the positions haven't really changed. So Walsh, Mihalovic, and Sinancevic in the pole positions. Although this man had improved, and that looks perhaps even better. So, as the Croatian threatened Walsh's lead here, perhaps not far away though. Got very close before. 21.25, so no improvement. He's only 2 centimeters off the lead though, with that 21.57 from the previous round. Walsh still leading. Mihalovic looking good though for a slot in the final 3.
So over to Armin Sinancevic, lying in 3rd place. Just 2 centimeters further back, so the first 3 places only separated by 4 centimeters, and that looks decent as well. A little bit of frustration there for the Serb. This is shaping up to be quite a competitive shot put competition here.
That is huge for him.
Oh, 21.88, it's a national record. Goodness me. Well, that has put the cat amongst the pigeons there, and Tom Walsh and Mihalovic will have to respond to that. That has put him right into the lead. It's a huge personal best, and it's a national record to boot in round 5.
Well, it equals his national record, but it was a huge throw, and that's something which Walsh will take note of. And overbalances there as he tries to match the throw he's just seen. He gets the red flag, but he's into the final 3. So although he finds himself in 2nd position now, he has the chance to rectify that. Sinancevic in the lead. There's the 3 who'll make the final 3, seeing them shortly.
Back to the high jump. Bashim with his first attempt at 2.30 meters. Absolutely loves competing here in this stadium. Oh yes, makes it look so simple, and nice to hear a little ripple of applause there as he approached the bar. Hugely popular, very much the poster boy, saying how we said 10 years on the circuit and still those competitive juices are flowing. Never satisfied, always wants more.
A little bit of a disappointing competition overall. You know, we have seen some great high jump competitions here in this stadium, and of course the one you talked about at the World Championships when he came out on top. Sadly, 1 or 2 who we were hoping would go well tonight have not been able to do so. Now can the Russian Ivanyuk do 2.37 recently in Russia, which was remarkable really. Well, signs for him that this could be a big year, and he's been dicing with going out of the competition, but clear now. So Ivanyuk giving Bashim something to think about. But others, I mean, remember the great competition with talking about 2.37, Nita Sikau, the Belarus athlete, against Tamberi indoors when he cleared 2.37. Ivanyuk himself has already done that this year, so has he got more here? He's clear at 2.30 with Bashim. So onto the track, the 400-meter men. We saw them in the call room a little earlier, and a lot of people looking forward to this. So what a cracking field we've got here. And just some news on Van Niekerk, of course, as we move towards the Olympic Games. The South African who's been coming back from terrible injuries, really, and had a little bit of a niggle last week after racing in the States, but I think he had a scan and showed it was okay, so fingers crossed for him. So Al Yassin of Saudi Arabia on the outside. Then we've got Vernon Norwood in very good form already this year. He's going to be in lane 7. Already under 45 seconds, as indeed has been Karani James, and it's so good to see the Olympic champion from 2012 and world champion in 2011 when he was just a youngster, the man from Grenada, getting back to really good form. But Michael Norman, superb 44.4 in California. Last time I saw him run, but you'd normally expect to beat Fred Curley, but when a man inside you in lane 4 has just run 991 for 100 meters, and he's going now on the 400, what does Fred Curley have in store here? He's been running hundreds and 200s, and can't wait to see him race Michael Norman here. Anthony Jose Zambrano, the silver medalist, surprise silver medalist, you'd have to say, in Doha in 2019 from Colombia. Then Kevin Borley, the very experienced Belgian, part of that famous 400-meter running family, in lane 2. He was recently at the World Relay Championships. And then we have Yahya Ibrahim from Qatar in lane 1. So Karani James, Michael Norman, and then you look at Fred Curley and Zambrano. What a fantastic lineup we've got here in this men's 400 meters. Not to mention Vernon Norwood, who will give them a good target out in lane 7 as well. Fastest time in the world this year, incidentally set by Noah Williams. Yes, not a familiar name. 44.30. That could well be under threat here in these fabulous conditions in Doha. Men's 400 meters. Norman's in lane 5, Karani James in 6, Fred Curley in 4, Zambrano in 3. Fred Curley hasn't started particularly quickly. Michael Norman has, though, as we know he does. He's gone out hard over this first 100 and will want to lead through 200 meters. Already made up on Karani James outside him. Norwood started pretty quickly in lane 7, and now Norman just starting to be rolled in by Fred Curley, and a long way back Zambrano with a lot of work to do. He's gone too slow through this first 200 meters perhaps. So Fred Curley moving up on Norman. Karani James trying to come back into this round that top bend, and it's going to be Norman and Curley and Karani James and Norwood, as Zambrano is looking to finish as quickly as he can, but it's Norman who starts to pull away from the others. He's got the strength. Karani James trying to finish quickly, as is Zambrano, but it's Norman who takes it. 44.27. That'll be a world lead for the American. Continues his unbeaten ways in 2021, an Olympic year. Went out hard, came home hard, controlled the race right the way through. Zambrano not really on terms through the first 200 meters, finished quickly. Karani James did pretty well in the home straight as well. But this is still the man to beat, isn't he? Michael Norman, now top of the world rankings, and wins the Diamond League here in Doha. Not yet at the top of his game, I don't think, but surely he's going to carry on getting quicker and carry on building. And will Van Niekerk join the fray in later weeks as well. But for now, there's your winner, and still top of the world, Michael Norman of the USA.
Well, that's 4 out of 4 for Michael Norman in 2021. A great race, really enjoyed that. Fred Curley coming back, but just coming up short, and Zambrano, well done to him, the surprise silver medalist, finishing strongly. But Norman against Curley, really two of the most versatile runners, over 200 and 400, and as we heard earlier on, in Curley's case, over 100 as well. But Norman here, really controlled, didn't panic, could feel Curley coming up on his left shoulder, but just dug in and had enough strength in the latter stages to hold off Curley and the fast finishing Zambrano. Really good win that for Michael Norman, who now incidentally moves ahead 4-3 in the head-to-head with Fred Curley.
Yeah, and I think, you know, if you look at the kind of recent record, he'd always expect to beat Fred Curley, but when Curley suddenly starts running those quick sprint times, you think, ooh. But although it's the season's best for Curley, and he did hold off James by 1/100 of a second, it's Michael Norman comes out on top. Well, lead 44.27 Zambrano 44.57 in second.
So Mihajlovic
Well, this is how they qualified, Chris, for the final. And actually what we didn't see was some of their best throws. We saw them in the 5th round, and it all changed, didn't it? And in the final round as well. Walsh finding himself now second place after leading all the way through. But Mihajlovic, who went to 21.57 in round 4. Walsh, it was that very first round, which was his best. And then Sinancevic with this huge national record equaling performance of 21.88 in round 5, who found himself right at the end in the lead, much to his delight. So these are the 3 men who are going to contest this final 3. That's how they made it to the final, Chris. And well, it's anybody's there, isn't it? There's not much to choose between them. Mihajlovic and Tom Walsh. Has Walsh just been rattled a little bit by that big throw from Sinancevic?
Well, it was a statement, wasn't it, in round 5, and it was a timely moment to produce the best effort. But again, if you're new to this is the final 3. These 3 throwers have earned the right to be in round 6. The 5 previous rounds are wiped clean, and it doesn't matter how far they threw in those 5 previous rounds. So the only advantage that Sinancevic gets is because he gets to throw last, so he will know when he steps into the circle what he has to do to win. There is Tom Walsh, who will go second. And Mihajlovic, who will throw first. So Croatia, Serbia and New Zealand in this final 3.
And we're going to competition in the men's high jump. Now just concluding as Darshan missed his final attempt at
It's odd, isn't it? Because the way this final 3 goes, there's the rest of the shot putters have not been excused from the field yet, even though they're not in the competition anymore. So I'd like to say they were engrossed in watching this final 3. A few of them looked as though they'd like to have moved on, because they don't get the chance to have a 6th round. That's one of the issues around this. But it's a trial. It will go on for the rest of the season. And everybody's thoughts will be thrown in, athletes, broadcasters, fans, and then a decision made as to whether this will stay as part of the Diamond League going forward.
So Mihajlovic then with his 6th and final throw to really lay down the marker for the 2 that will follow. Just shy of 21 meters there by the look of it. That doesn't look as if it might be good enough, but you never know. We've seen some no throws and no marks already this evening in the other field events. Nothing is guaranteed. So 20.89 is the mark to beat for Sinancevic and Tom Walsh.
one of the best throwers in history.
Well, if anyone's interested, it's a big chest. It says there's a lot of space there. Can you get it moving here? There's a big roar from Tom Walsh. Now that's a good marker. It might not be the biggest throw of the competition, which was that 21.88 in the 5th round for Sinancevic, but in this final 3, that's a big marker he's just thrown out there. So Walsh gets it out to 21.63. Thumbs up from him. The New Zealander going, where was that earlier on? Wouldn't have been good enough to win in a normal competition, as it were, but it could be good enough to win the competition in this format.
Well, that puts the pressure, doesn't it, on Sinancevic, who, okay, has thrown 21.88, but this is do or die, win or bust here. Oh, it's over 22 meters, but did he encroach? Did he come out the circle? I think he's got the white flag.
White flag.
He's got the white flag. And with it, goodness me, he had to be really careful there. But that sailed out into the Doha sky. And well, he will feel that, he will feel that justice has been done there, because he led going into the final 3, and he leads and wins after the final 3.
Just waiting for it to come up. It's taking a while for the result to come up here, Chris. And it's been given as a no throw.
Wow.
And I think because, although his foot didn't come down, you see he went out of the circle as such. So although he didn't step, well, I'm not sure. We'll have another replay, I hope. He might have, I think he knew, because had it been a legal throw, that was another record, another national record. He wants some ice in his hands, I guess. Well, so just to clear that up, Tom Walsh wins the shot put with 21.63 in the final three. Mihaljevic takes second spot, and the man who was leading going into the final three with a foul there at the end takes third.
Two more events on the track. The first of those, the women's 100 metres. And we were hoping to see a second meeting between Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Sha'Carri Richardson inside a week, but sadly the American was cramping after her exploits in the wind and rain of Gateshead, and so has returned to the United States. But still a very, very high quality field here, which includes Fraser-Pryce and Talu and Okubari on the inside lane there. Mavari Al-Shamari from Kuwait, two-time national champion. She goes in 1. Cara Parker from USA, member of the 4x100 relay bronze winning team here in Doha 2 years ago in 2. There is Okubari, 32 years old now, Olympic and world long jump silver. Got a great start in Gateshead last weekend in the pouring rain, but then faded to 5th in 11.57, but she'll be much more suited, I'm sure, to the warm conditions here. Marie-Josée Talu also performed very well indeed, came ahead of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who's just to her right, to finish in 3rd last weekend, world bronze here 2 years ago in the 100 metres. Talu then, all the experience goes in lane 4. There is Fraser-Pryce, 34 years old now, multiple Olympic and world champion, including the reigning world champion from here 2 years ago, aiming to become the first mother to win an Olympic title in Tokyo in 9 weeks' time. She goes in 5. Javianne Oliver, outstanding indoor season, won the World Indoor Tour, unbeaten inside. She was 6th in Gateshead last weekend. She goes in 6. Hannah Cunliffe in 7, former NCAA indoor champion, based in Florida. She goes in 7. And completing the lineup, Ayla Del Ponte from Switzerland, the newly crowned European indoor champion, part of that excellent group based in Papendal with Laura Muley, and the likes of Femke Bol and Nika Klaver. So Del Ponte in 8, Okubari in 3, Talu in 4, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, whose biggest motivation, she said, this year is perhaps not retaining her Olympic title, but to go sub 10.7. That is a big deal, she says, for the rest of her career. So the lineup again, Al-Shamari in 1 from Kuwait, Parker USA in 2, Okubari, the Nigerian, the tall figure, goes in 3, Talu, the diminutive Ivorian, in 4, Fraser-Pryce, there she is with the headband, in 5, Oliver, USA 6, Cunliffe, USA 7, Del Ponte, Switzerland, in lane 8. Women's 100 metres. Well, once again, Okubari gets a good start, but Fraser-Pryce already into her running along with Talu. Also going well is Oliver, but Fraser-Pryce coming away with it. Fraser-Pryce lights out into the line. Fraser-Pryce with a slight tailwind, 10.84, the winning time. Well, that's progress, and of course, a completely different race, totally different conditions. And having laboured to 11.57 last weekend in the driving rain in the northeast of England, well, you could say normal service resumed here. A season's best for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. 9 weeks to go until the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and I'm sure she'll say little steps, baby steps, stepping stones, preparation, and that will feel good. Okubari coming in 2nd place and continuing her excellent start to the season. But victory there for the double Olympic champion.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. And I actually had the chance to interview her in Gateshead about the season ahead, and we talked about the fact she'd missed last year because Olympics. She had such a good 2019. What a good start here again tonight. And it's that platform of consistency which gave her that World Championship in 2019. 11 times. It was her best year ever for running under 11 seconds in 2019. 11 sub-11 second performances, and here we are early, as you said, Chris, still fairly early in the season. Gateshead wasn't the place to do it, but a scintillating run here from Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. 34, mum, all of that sort of thing going on, but is still going to be right up there. Let no one have any doubt whatsoever. As good as Dina Asher-Smith was, as good as Sha'Carri Richardson is looking, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, and of course, let's not forget Elaine Thompson. Okagbara is in the mix, but she keeps running like this, starting like this, consistency. She can pop that. She's talked about sub 10.7, and who knows, that's what it might need come Tokyo, because they're all running quick. I'm sure they all will get quicker this year, but what a start for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, 10.84.
Smiling again, the Jamaican, and she said teasingly at the press conference that the double in Tokyo is still a possibility. Well, with each victory, I'm sure her confidence will grow. Fraser-Price then, 10.84. Great third place there for Javianne Oliver for the USA.
Well, what an interesting high jump competition tonight with Barshim, the big star. And suddenly saw Ivanyuk having cleared first time at 2:30. Ivanyuk cleared at the third attempt at 2:30. Now the bar 2:33. So the Russian. Oh, there you go. I said he jumped 2:37 recently. This is his first competition outside of Russia since the World Championships in 2019. He did jump 2:30 last summer in Russia, but 2:37 just 2 weeks ago. He did that one on his third attempt. First attempt here tonight, clear at 2:33. And let's not forget his previous best before that, before this year, was what he did at the World Championships, 2:35, when he took the bronze medal behind Barshim. But that is a challenge to the great man.
So Barshim. Bar at 2:33. No. A little bit of pressure then mounting on the reigning world champion.
It's like he took the glasses off, a little look disdain at the bar going, what do you mean you've come off?
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
You know, when you think, as you said, about how long he's been around, all the back problems, his injury problems, yet has still managed to, you know, not only jump high in the, you know, the marks that he's achieved. Oh, I think they're going to go high here. Well, he's failed, so at this height. So we've gone to 2:36 now. So, of course, he's carrying one failure towards this, Chris.
He is.
Two.
So it's do or die. This is it. Needs to nail this 2:36, or else he's out of the competition. So, second attempt. 2:36, having passed at 2:33. No, not to be. So Barshim, still plenty of time. Good to see him back competing, but it won't be a winning return to Doha for Barshim.
No, you know, when he's at his very best, there's a rhythm to what he's doing, and it's not quite there yet. You can see that. He's reaching for it a little bit, so he's going to lose here tonight to Ivanyuk. So it's a big win for him. Clutch performance at 2:30 when he cleared at the third attempt. First time over 2:33. Put the pressure back on Barshim, who himself had cleared first time at 2:30. It looked as though he was sitting pretty, but 2:33. Just wonder whether Barshim, just at this stage of the season, maybe should have had 3 attempts at 2:33, get that under his belt. Shows his confidence. Went to 2:36, 2 failures at that, added to the one at 2:33. He's done, so the win goes to Ivanyuk.
One more picture.
Why not? One more picture. Well, Ivanyuk, one of the several athletes who've been given approval to compete at the Olympic Games in Tokyo as authorised neutral athletes, along with the likes of Sidorova, who we saw earlier on, and Maria Lasitskene.
You know, and he's in the form, he's improving, and obviously a win here, big win. 2:37 under his belt at home. You know, it's one thing doing 2:37. Okay, there's a win in the high jump. And that concludes all of the field action. Just one more event, 3,000 meters for women on the track. Chris, as a result.
Yeah, Ivaniuk, great win psychologically for him as well. It'd be very satisfying to push Bashim into second place in his own backyard, but still plenty of competition and plenty of twists and turns, I'm sure, on the road to Tokyo ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And for many athletes, it's about planning a route through trials and the travel restrictions. It has to be said that great job being done by all the meet organisers to comply with all the COVID restrictions around travel, and indeed when the athletes arrive, and athletes and agents and managers having to plan quarantines, and depending which country you're in, and arriving at meets in a position to have the right preparation and then knowing what's coming next, and particularly when you're traveling halfway around the world from the US to Doha or around Europe, etc. It is tricky. So far we're managing, we've had 2 good meets, and more to come of course, but one more race here in Doha on a night where we've seen so many big performances. Conditions certainly have helped, and I just wonder whether they'll help here. Really looking forward to seeing, just seeing the picture there, Helen Obiri, who, well, she's had a bit of a dabble at the half marathon, under 65 minutes, goodness me. There's no end to Helen's talents, from 1500 up to the half marathon, the world champion here in the 3000 meters. Good field against her as well. Plenty of women who know her so well. Yasmin Can of Turkey. And no Gidai, the world record holder, who we had hoped at one point was going to be here. Sorry, not in this distance, of course. It's the longer distance, but Rengaruk certainly will give Helen Obiri, keep her honest in this one, I'm pretty sure. Dom Scott, US-based South African. Sheila Chellingat. I mean, plenty of these women with good fast times under the belt over the years. Camille Buscombe from New Zealand. Lali of Morocco on the inside. So we'll talk a little bit more about some of the athletes. But yeah, just coming back to no Gidai, sadly, but that was going to be a fantastic head-to-head between her and Obiri. But Obiri now, the chance to really show what sort of shape she's in at an early stage of the season here in Doha. So they're heading, or they've asked for a good pace, which if Helen really wanted to finish strongly, could bring them close to the sort of 8:20 mark, and anyone running sub 8:20, well, you're into fairly rarefied territory. But Helen Obiri herself has never broken 8:20, which I was looking down, I was a bit surprised at that. I don't know why, because that's a heck of a run. So, pacemaker has been asked to hit 67s thereabouts. Doesn't look as though she's gone too hard, just having a little look behind, which is good. And just checking where everybody is as they start to just settle down through this first 300 meters. Chellingat coming on the outside of Obiri, and they close in on the pacemaker, who looks as though he probably is heading for something around about 67 seconds here.
Well, Obiri loves racing in this city in Doha. It's been really kind to her over the years. Said it's like putting on a familiar overcoat when she comes back. Not that you need an overcoat in these temperatures, I have to say, but she won the world title here 2 years ago. She won the 5,000 in the Diamond League at the start of 2019. Set a personal best in the 3,000 meters way back in 2014. So absolutely loves this city and is hoping to extend her winning run here this evening.
Well, hats off to Winnie Chibet, knows what she's doing. 67 on the mark, 67 flat indeed through the first 400 meters. So Helen Obiri, and it's hard sometimes, you know, she's obviously worked hard during this winter. You can't run 64.50. I know people will talk about shoes, etc., but even so, that's still a heck of a performance in the half marathon distance, and yet maintain your ability to race well on the track at 3,000 and 5,000 meters. 5,000, of course, the aim, the 5,000 on the first events in the track and field program for women. In fact, I think the heats are on the very first day of the track and field program, so a different double, if you like, if you were going to consider 5 and 10, 5,000 comes first. So there we go, heading towards 800 meters here. Chibet doing a grand job, looking for 2:14, thereabouts. Good hard pace being set, just dropped a little bit on the second lap. 2:15.7, Obiri in close attendance though.
That wonderful rocking, rolling style, which can get accentuated when the heat really is on in the final stages. But don't be fooled by that being untidy. She's a very, very compact runner and has got terrific speed endurance.
And she'll know the danger from the others in the race. Kip Kemboy just tucked in there on the inside as well, who finished second, of course, behind Helen Obiri in the 5,000 metres in Doha 2 years ago. So that first 1,000 metres completed a very good platform, 250. They won't want to let this go too much slower if they're going to get into close to 8:20. I suspect we're going to be more like in the 8 under, somewhere between 8:25 maybe to 8:30. But they're beginning to look at each other a little bit on. You can tell the rest of the field are gathering, getting closer. Chibet's in there, Beatrice Chibet, that is, Chalangat, Chan, Rengaruk, Facer also there, Chirono in that group. And then a bit of a gap then after that. Scott leading the rest of the pack after that. So, pace slowed, pack is gathering together. Helen Obiri doesn't mind though, and is just thinking, okay, maybe I want to get this moving a little bit. And I always think people underestimate Helen's finishing pace. You know, the last couple of years she's back to her very best in terms of finishing the race. And like you said, Chris, sometimes you look at her and think she's tired, she's working hard, and then bang, last 300 meters strong as ever.
Well, she went back to train back in Kenya after the World Championships, and she wanted to work on her speed and just really sharpen up, and it really showed. And we should also say that she was saying recently the birth of her child has given her an extra incentive. She has someone dependent on her, and that's actually added to her competitive spirit. She now wants to not just do it for herself, but she wants to do it for her daughter as well.
World Cross Country Junior Champion Beatrice Chibet moving up on the Helen Obiri's shoulder, looking pretty comfortable. Obiri did not really like the fact it was a 71 lap through the start-finish line on the slowest of the laps so far on the previous lap. So decided enough is enough, we've got to get this moving a little bit. Kip Kemboy, silver medalist behind her. Chan of Turkey going well. Chalangat just tucked in on the curb behind her. Rengaruk still in with this. But Helen Obiri just applying a little bit of pressure now as they start to wind this up. 3 laps to go. Obiri leads, a little bit of a gap starting to appear as Rengaruk starts to move up on the outside. Sorry, Chalangat starts to move up with Rengaruk on her shoulder. Chibet right there. Kip Kemboy on the inside. Sheila Chalangat, and just realised that the gap was just beginning to grow a little bit. Chirono and Facer trying to hang on there. So, Helen Obiri is going to run this from the front. She's going to try and run the steam out of the others, and then, as I said, perhaps deceptively make them think they've got a chance. But who knows, it's early in the season yet, and has Obiri got it in the tank to do that? 5:44, 254 kilometre, that's a slow one.
Don't be fooled though, Obiri. She's been in terrific form. She's had 3 wins out of 3, all of them in Nairobi. So at a little bit of altitude, this is her first race back on the track since that half marathon debut in Istanbul. And it'll feel, I'm sure, familiar, but she's where she wants to be, likes to control the race, and is doing exactly that.
Coming up with 2 laps to go, the world champion leading, the world silver medalist, the taller of the other 3, and the blue in the curb. And then we've got Chalangat just giving way to Chibet, who comes up on the outside. Rengaruk starting to make a move as they feel the heat, as Yasmin Chan just tries to hang on. The Turkish athlete not able to go with this, and Helen Obiri, this is what she does. It's almost a la Mo Farah, isn't it, from the front and then kick from the front. So Obiri leading as they have got approaching just, well, 650 meters to go, but look how comfortable the young Chibet's looking. Has she got the kick? Has she got the legs? Lap and a half to go.
Yeah, I agree. Chibet looking really nice and relaxed. The facial muscles completely without tension. But Obiri just exactly where she wants to be. Rengaruk, we shouldn't write her off as well. So 5 still in it here. Chan really starting to feel the pace here.
Chebet also, of course, the World Junior Champion, such a talent at the 5,000 metres. Rengaruk, you'd never expect Helen Obiri to get outkicked by Rengaruk or indeed Kipkemboi. So what has she got here at the bell go? 67 for that previous lap. Has Helen Obiri got enough to hold these three off? Kipkemboi has never moved away from the curve. She allows Rengaruk and Chebet to stay wide, and Helen Obiri is not letting anybody pass, but they're gathering, and Obiri winds it up again. 300 metres to go. The world champion under pressure here. Rengaruk looks as though she's going to try and make something. Kipkemboi for the first time starts to look for a little bit of room to try and get out, and it's young Chebet. 200 to go, the first to strike, and Obiri's got no answer. Rengaruk goes past. Chebet leading, Rengaruk in second place behind her. Sorry, Kipkemboi behind her, Rengaruk still there. Chebet though, look at this, her arms are going side to side, but it's effective, and Chebet has got 1.5 meters. Kipkemboi trying to get back to her. Rengaruk can't do anything about it. It's Chebet though who's going to take a massive scalp. Helen Obiri fades over the last 100 meters, and it's Beatrice Chebet who takes the win, the 21-year-old. Massive performance from her, 8:27. That's a huge personal best. Helen Obiri comes in rather tired in fourth. Well, we were giving her the platform, weren't we? We were giving her the build-up, because Helen has shown us on so many occasions in the past, even when she's looking tired, that she still has got something to give. Not tonight. It was all about the 21-year-old Beatrice Chebet, who looked, you have to say, looked comfortable all of the way. Massive breakthrough for her, 8:27. Of course, the quickest in the world this year. Kipkemboi second. As I said, Rengaruk would normally not expect to beat Helen Obiri, never mind run a big personal best there, under 8:30, 8:28.96. And for Helen Obiri, long way to go. A few weeks ago, of course, to go towards the Olympic Games, but I don't think that will be the sort of performance she'll be too happy about tonight.
No, the way she faded in the last, 250 metres or so was very surprising indeed. Maybe a touch of the commentator's curse there, because we've seen her in this position so many times before and just go through the gears, as you mentioned, a la Mo Farah, and just every time there was a question asked, she'd always have the answer, but not tonight. And Chebet controlled it beautifully and then just decided, right, I've had enough and I'm off way. The handbrake came off and she was gone. And, well, so relaxed. And it's a massive world lead. She's taken, nearly 18 seconds off the previous world lead of the year. So that's the standard to aim for from Beatrice Chebet, 8:27.
So an impressive night for the Kenyans in the 3,000 metres. Beatrice Chebet breaking through to take that win with a personal best, but Helen Obiri, the world champion, only managing fourth. Now, don't forget, the BBC Sports website is the place to go for reaction to all of tonight's events and the very latest athletics news. It's a bumper weekend of live athletics for you this weekend as well, with the European Team Championships taking place in Poland. Coverage begins on our live platforms, including iPlayer from 2:30 tomorrow. International cricket is back with a test series between England and New Zealand starting next week. There's highlights of the first test on Wednesday night from 7 p.m. on BBC Two. But it was another evening of brilliant athletics in Doha. Not without some controversy, but a great night for the two young Brits making their impressive Diamond League debuts. The highlight, though, was a very promising performance from Jamaica's Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce ahead of Tokyo. We will be back on June the 10th with live coverage from Florence as the Golden Gala relocates for 1 year only from Rome. We'll see you then.
My feet move, my feet move to the beat. If you wanna